up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours where there is a monumental amount of need to discuss. Firstly, on the Marcelo Brozovic transfer, it has taken a huge U-turn over the past 24 hours where we see Barcelona well and truly in the race and very likely to sign him. Brozovic has given Barcelona a deadline to reach to offer him a contract, guarantees in writing, and also make a bid to Inter Milan. He has since rejected the first initial offer from Al Nassr and he's now waiting for Barcelona. After a pivot, the club are planning on targeting a right back where currently Ivan Fesneda is the top target, as Joao Laporta and his agent do have a good relationship, but Xavi is still pushing for Joao Cancelo. But of course, for signs to happen, sales. We're currently around, 30 hours away from the financial year ending. Of course, June 30th is when the club financial year ends, where they want to, balance the books, and they need some sales from these loan players. Of course, Dest, Umtiti, Lenglet, Collado, Gustavo Maya, Nico Gonzalez. We have an update on all their futures, and we also have an update on some of the first team players who could be leaving as well. Ferran, Torres, Ansu, Fati, but mainly Franck Kessie, how Saudi Arabia have come knocking on the door and have already made both Barcelona and Franck Kessie a huge offer. And finally, we do have another huge offer from the table from Qatar, who have offered Barcelona a multi-million euro deal to use their name in their country. We'll discuss that as well. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get the 200 likes in this video. It'd be very much appreciated. Also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. If you're looking for a new shirt to represent Barcelona winning La Liga, look no further than BarcaBuzz's Campeones t-shirt. Absolutely fantastic quality, has the iconic chant there as well, available in 4 different colors, only while supplies last. Use the code BarcaBoy10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. There isn't much left, the campaign's gonna end, so make sure you click the link in the description down below and get your new shirt today. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past 48 hours. Now, first, we're going to be discussing what's Barcelona's current target in the transfer market, and that is Marcelo Brozovic. And there has been a big U-turn mainly over the past 24 hours on his transfer. A lot to discuss. Let's get right into it. First, Adrian the Miro came out saying that Brozovic is still waiting for Barcelona. We'll see if the club can give him any guarantees. And then Marcelo came out saying that Marcelo Brozovic and Al Nassr are still negotiating, and the player has asked for a salary of 30 million euros net per year to accept their offer. Barcelona are still monitoring the situation. So Al Nassr's initial offer to Brozovic was 20 million euros net per season. He's asking for 30. Among the reasons why Marcelo Brozovic is hesitant to accept the Al Nassr offer is because Barcelona's interest weighs above all, and Barcelona are in the race to sign him. Fabrizio Romano came out saying that Brozovic will not accept the current offer made by Al Nassr. The Saudi Arabian club will have to improve their offer for the player. Mathieu Emery does come out saying despite the agreement between Al Nassr and Inter Milan, Brozovic's doubts keep the Saudi Arabia team away. Negotiations will continue and Barcelona remain in the race. But then DiMarcio came out saying that Barcelona have Marcelo Brozovic's approval by the club, but they cannot formalize an offer yet. The club needs more time. They continue to work on his signing. So DiMarcio is reporting that Brozovic has agreed to join Barcelona, so you could say that personal terms are pretty much done. Gazeta dello Sport came out saying that since Barcelona entered the scenes, the priority for the player have taken a different perspective. It's not just an economic question, but also a sporting one. Miguel from AES came out saying the arrival of Brozovic is still seen as complicated by the club because exits have to be closed first, but they recognize the doors are being opened and that everything is possible. Fernando Polo from Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona is still analyzing how far it can go economically to present Brozovic to Inter Milan with a formal offer, and for this, Barcelona needs time. Deco is working with Brozovic's agent to find out the details, his demands, while Ariman is analyzing how Brozovic's signing can fit into the wage bill, taking into account the departures that are needed to be able to incorporate the player, and at the moment, no one from Barcelona is leaving, not even those on loan. Ben Ahli came out saying that Barcelona tried to offer different formulas to Inter Milan, but Inter preferred the offer from Saudi Arabia. It was all put to stop due to Brozovic's position. Now everything depends on Inter's response and the player's final decision, and Barcelona have put more focus on this operation than any other after they started working on it. So of course, the other operation that we were working besides the Brozovic one was Victor Roque, and that's kind of been put on hold a bit. Not really on hold because that deal is basically done. All we have to do is just push the green light. Right now the club's focus, Mateo and Deco, is on Brozovic. Then Demarcio again came out saying that Brozovic is saying no to the Saudi Arabia offer because of Barcelona's interest. However, Barcelona are unable to meet Inter's demands at the moment. In the coming days, Barcelona will try to sell to be able to make an offer for at least 17 million euros. Ben Ahli confirmed this, saying that Xavi has requested the Barcelona board to focus on Marcelo Brozovic's signing until the last moment. He insisting on the signing. Again, Miguel came out saying that if Barcelona are able to make a formal offer to Inter Milan in the coming days, Brozovic will join the club. He is very interested in joining Xavi's project and is going to wait a few more days too. The difficult exit operations is what's complicating the signing. So you could agree at this point that if we can reach an agreement with Inter Milan, it's a done deal because Brozovic wants the move, and you could even say again, personal terms are already, laid out there, and it's basically agreed. Now, Mateo Brito has come out saying the meeting between Al Nassr and Brozovic representatives. The player decided not to show up. Barcelona are waiting for him. Xavi wants Brozovic, who is the coach's plan A. So last night, Al Nassr had a meeting scheduled with Brozovic's representatives, so his agents and himself as well, but the player didn't show up. And during this time, Brozovic was going mad on Instagram, posting all these weird memes like stay tuned and be patient and all this stuff on his Instagram stories. So things were kicking off. Romano confirmed this as well, saying that Brozovic did not meet with the delegation from Al Nassr. He is in no rush. Either Al Nassr offers what he requests or he has no intention to accept the offer, and he is aware of Barcelona's interest. Romano again sitting on the fence of this, but he's staying with black and blue. If he wants to go to Al Nassr, they have to pay up, and that is the reality of it. But then here's where the shift came in. Gerard Romero came out saying that Brozovic's entourage has informed Barcelona that the club has a few days to make an offer to Inter and present an offer to the player. If they succeed, Brozovic can be a culé. Brozovic's agent has asked Barcelona for the player's formal contract and registration guaranteed in writing. So now Brozovic has told Barcelona he will wait. He won't wait for long. The rumor is he will wait around 6 to 7 days. In that time frame, the club have to present an offer to Brozovic, or else he will go to Al Nassr, and they need guarantees of the contract and registration in writing as well. Gazeta dello Sport came out saying that confidence regarding Brozovic remains at Barcelona. The attempt from Al Nassr took place without the presence of the player. Finally, Juan Martin came out saying that at Barcelona there is still hope regarding Brozovic's signing. He is not ruled out because his gestures are clear. Postpone his decision so that Barcelona gains a few days. However, either Barcelona accelerate the exits or they will not be able to bid for him. So Juan Martin saying, look, Brozovic will wait, which is good for Barcelona, but the club need to do some exits right now or else they will not be able to sign him. And the icing on the top, Ben Ahli's come out saying that at the moment Xavi is not considering any other options for the pivot other than Marcelo Brozovic. Deco is working from the morning all the way to the evening around the process. So far, Barcelona does not talk about optimism or nothing like that. They just phrase it as we will try until the last moment. So where we're currently at with Brozovic, again, full agreement between Inter Milan and Al Nassr for his transfer. Al Nassr had no agreement with the player. They've offered him 20 million net salary. He wanted 30 to join. They haven't counter-offered that. And they had a meeting last night, which Brozovic didn't show up to. He spoke with Barcelona. They basically laid out the terms for him to join Barcelona. He's happy with that. He spoke with Xavi. He's happy with that. Now it's all up to Barcelona and Inter Milan to reach that agreement. Brozovic has given Barcelona 7 days to make an offer, official offer, to Inter Milan and himself. If we don't, he will go to Al Nassr most likely. And if we do, he will become a Blaugrana. For me personally, it's the best out of the players available. Of course, Zubamendi is a dream. Kimmich would be unbelievable, but Brozovic is the best of what's feasible for Barcelona. I'd be happy with the signing. Again, 20 million. You take it. He'll be the pivot for this season. Next season, he'll be the backup for if we bring in Zubamendi or can make it, or because they'll all have 1 year less on their contract, so that could be a possibility as well. I'm very interested to see how long the contract is that Barcelona offer him. Of course, he is in his 30s, so I would expect them to offer maybe a 2-year deal, but with us spending money on it, I could see the club adding another year, maybe 3+1. So we're going to see how that goes. But again, I think Brozovic signing is very, very important this summer, and it would be a brilliant signing for Barcelona. So to see how things develop over the next 7 days. The club now have 7 days to reach the deadline, offer him a contract, and also make a bid to Inter Milan, which in the end does mean right now the ball is in Barcelona's court. Now, a midfielder who has been offered to Barcelona over the past 24 hours has been the former Manchester United midfielder Marcel Sabitzer. This is coming in from Sport. They came out saying that Barcelona had been offered the chance to sign Marcel Sabitzer. Bayern Munich would be willing to loan him to the Blaugrana this summer. Of course, Sabitzer is fresh off a loan move from Manchester United. He was there for around 6 months from January until the summer, had good playing time in Bayern Munich, and now he's open to another loan move. Alright player, but again, our midfield is very, very meticulous, and it's also very much set in stone. Sabitzer is not a pivot, so I wouldn't be interested in him whatsoever. You already have Frenkie de Jong, you have Pedri, you have Xavi, you have Ilkay Gundogan. You can maybe bring in another creative midfielder, which against Sabitzer isn't. He's a box-to-box. And also, for now, we still do have Franck Kessie as well. I think if this was, in August, where, our squad is kind of materializing a bit and we have maybe options open, you want to bring in a quick loan reinforcement, it could be a possibility. I think Sabitzer is a good player, but I think with the plans right now with the squad, he does not fit whatsoever. And also, you could say his salary will be very, very expensive. I think he was earning, first of all, I think Man United paid a loan fee to Bayern Munich, which I think the club won't be interested in. And I also think his salary is around 7 million net per year, which is way off the mark that Barcelona could be interested in giving him. So we'll wait and see anything materialize from this. But again, Sabitzer has been offered to Barcelona in the form of a loan move, where the club will most likely not execute that offer. But a midfielder who isn't a pivot, who the club do want to sign this summer, is Arda Guler. Again, the club is still very interested, or more specifically Xavi, you could say, in bringing in that creative midfielder, the one who can, create chances and be very productive in the final third. Sport are reporting that it is impossible for Barcelona to sign Arda Guler this summer, but nonetheless, the club will try to close the deal so that he can come in 2024. So the club still technically want to sign him this summer. He just won't join this summer. He will join at some point next year. This could be a good move if we can maybe, pay his release clause, but then loan him back. That way you can get the payment terms a bit better. Also, the player is still very open to staying at Fenerbahce for another season to continue his development. Now, on his father's commission, there are reports that came in from Turkey saying that the rumors around his father wanted the 18-20 million euro commission, which is basically his release clause again, is not true. But to be honest, I'd be very, very shocked if it wasn't true. When you have a super talented kid and you're the dad, you can easily get a payout. Look at Erling Haaland for an example. Look at Kylian Mbappe from his move to Monaco to PSG. I'm sure his agent got a huge commission as well. It's the reality of the situation, but we'll wait and see. But if we can pull off the sign this summer, it'll be absolutely brilliant. This player is a talent in the making, and I think at Barcelona he would be great. Again, I would sign Arda Guler over Giovanni Lo Celso, even though Giovanni Lo Celso right now is the better player. I think the squad is too young to not, take advantage of a player of this quality. He will come in the same age group. He's not an 18-year-old joining a veteran Barcelona team, with Messi in his 30s, Suarez in his 30s, Jordi Alba, Busquets, Rakitic, Ter Stegen. It's not going to be that, right? He's going to be joining a young squad with the likes of Koundé, Araujo, Balde, Pedri, Xavi, Ansu, Fati, so I think he'll fit right in. So we'll wait and see. I think this is right now not the priority for Barcelona. They want to get that pivot, maybe even a right back afterwards, and then maybe push for Arda Guler, but they are, of course, still keeping tabs with his situation. So we'll wait and see, but again, the club still very interested in signing Arda Guler this summer in some way, shape, or form. Now, it is quite evident that Barcelona do plan on signing a right back this summer to reinforce that position, as currently on paper, we do not have a natural right back in the squad. You have Jules Koundé, who refuses to play there. You have Sergi Roberto, who's washed. And then you have Julian Araujo, who we only seen play 90 minutes against Vissel Kobe in a friendly match. So the rumors are at the moment is that Ivan Fesneda is the top target. Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo has come out saying that Ivan Fesneda is on top of the right back list for Barcelona now. The position will be addressed after knowing what happens with the pivot position. That for me is huge news. Once we sort out the pivot, whether it's Brozovic or Parejo or Oriol Romeu, after that, the club will go for right back. Fresneda's release clause has dropped to 20 million euros after Real Valladolid got relegated, but he can be signed for around 15 million euros. He is represented by the same agency as Marcos Alonso and Pjanic, i.e. Liam agency of Fali Ramadani. Aleman met with him last week. The club has very good reports on the fullback. Again, Fresneda, he's not the name that you expect to come in, but hey, is a player who comes with potential. And like I said with Arda Guler, he's a young player joining a young squad, and they can grow and help each other all together. I think you can't go wrong with these young talents who shown potential, especially with Fresneda in La Liga. He's shown interest from Arsenal and Dortmund, who are both very interested in him back in the January transfer window, but couldn't get an agreement done with Valladolid. But according to some reports, the top target is still Joao Cancelo. Javi Miguel from AES has come out saying that Xavi is not giving up on his goal on bringing in a right back for next season, and Cancelo is still the manager's favorite. Javi Miguel does mention that that the club are planning to try and get Cancelo on a loan, which I really cannot see how we can do unless Cancelo heavily pushes for the move. Again, there are reports that Gerard Ribeiro said that the issue with Joao Cancelo is that he's asking for too much money for his salary. If he can reduce that, I have no doubts we can sign him. We can find an agreement with Man City, whether it's a loan or we buy half of him and we keep him for 2 seasons. They can keep the other half or whatever the case may be. I've seen some of those deals happen, but if they want to really push for the Champions League this upcoming season, I'd go for Cancelo. If they plan on winning the Champions League in the next 2 or 3 years, I'd go for Fresneda, because with Fresneda, there's a long-term goal, there's a long-term future, but with Cancelo, it's very short-term with it being a loan, and it's for the now. If the club, need to win a domestic treble, they need to win the La Liga, Copa, and Super Cup to, get some financing, that they need to push for the Champions League, then I would go for Joao Cancelo. I still think he's a top quality fullback, and of course, he can provide top quality at both right back and left back as well, and that versatility is very rare. Rarely do you see a player who can play both in the fullback position, both at the top level. So we'll wait and see. I am very optimistic on Barcelona signing a right back. For me personally, it should be one of the top priorities alongside a pivot. So I do hope the club do make this signing, and I believe they will end up doing so once they secure a new pivot. Now, as we all know, there was a big meeting yesterday with Barcelona internally with the board, and during that meeting, the club did communicate to La Liga some big details about the summer transfer window. Gerard Ribeiro come out saying that the Barcelona board is working on several movements for this summer market. As of today, it is expected that until the end of the market, the club can make 6 exits and 4 signings. And those 4 signings are Victor Roque, Inigo Martinez, Ilkay Gundogan, and a pivot, which does mean and 6 exits. Those 6 exits are going to be Umtiti, Dest, Lenglet, Collado, Nico, and I forget the last one. Is it Gustavo Maya? It's someone, and Kessie, I believe. So those are the 6 exits that the club right now are currently planning. 4 players coming in Gundogan, Inigo Martinez, Victor Roque, and the pivot. But that is the current plan. So the club want to bring in an Arda Guler, they want to bring in a right back, maybe even bring in a left winger. That's when the sales are very needed at that point. We have to sell Ferran, Torres, bring in one of those players, sell Ansu Fati, maybe even sell Rafinha. That's the point that we're currently at. So the loan players are enough to make our 4. Getting rid of the loan players is enough for Barcelona to make those initial signings, those 4. But if you want to create more signings, more salary margins, more exits are needed. So that's what Barcelona communicated to La Liga yesterday during their board meeting. So we'll wait and see how that develops. Again, Barcelona Many things can change very, very quickly, but that is the summer transfer window plan right now ahead of the window opening in the next few days. Let's now discuss the players who have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past 48 hours. First up, we're going to be discussing the loan players. Now, today is June 29th, tomorrow is June the 30th, which means tomorrow is the deadline for the end of the financial year for the club to balance its books and for the salary margin to be adjusted in a way that benefits the club. I am still very shocked that no exit has been confirmed yet, but with Barcelona, they do everything last second, so I feel like by the time I upload this video, there could even be big rumors about an exit. Until tomorrow, you never know. I highly suspect at least a player to leave, and I also highly suspect that the club might just do some contract terminations, letter of freedoms, to just get rid of the salaries of these loan players because they are ridiculous. Now, I couldn't have come out saying the club remains focused on the exits of Lenglet, Umtiti, Dest, Collado, and Maya, but there are no concrete offers for them so far. Now, on their salaries, Candace have come out saying the total sum between salaries and amortization with some of the club's outcasts will cost next season. Lenglet would cost 16 million euros for the season. Umtiti would cost 20 million euros for the season. Dest would cost 10.8 million euros. Now, of course, with Dest, there have been reports that we could end up keeping him if we don't sign a right back. Not on that salary. I mean, how's Bartomeu giving that to a 22, 21-year-old teenager freaking coming from Ajax? Collado on 2.7 and Gustavo Maya on 1.6, but I've said my piece on Bartomeu. I'm not gonna dabble into it. Now, there have been some reports of some of the loan players. Firstly, on Clement Lenglet, Fabrizio Romano has come out saying that Clement Lenglet is currently not a priority for Tottenham Hotspur, and they are not advancing in talks with Barcelona to sign him right now. They are focused on Tassoba, Van de Ven, and other players for the center back position. Now, it has been reported a few days ago that Tottenham have offered 5 million euros to Barcelona for Lenglet. So, I don't know, but I'm very scared now about Lenglet because if Tottenham are not interested in him, I have no idea what other club would offer money for him. I think this would be a result in either another loan or maybe even giving him the letter of freedom as well, which at this point, I'm all for it. Now, there has been a big report done on Samuel Umtiti from Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo. He came out saying that in January 2020, Samuel Umtiti reduced his salary by 10% and deferred the other 90% to be paid over 4.5 years instead of 1.5 years. The contract initially ended in 2023, but now it's in 2026. This helped greatly to comply with FFP and register Ferran Torres at the time. There's also an option to terminate his contract at the beginning of the 24-25 season, so next season, by paying an undisclosed fee. Umtiti does not see a contract termination right now with good eyes because he would lose money for a year, which he had already distributed in 4 years. The player knows that he has no place in the squad, and Barcelona and his agents are looking for solutions, but until now there has been no consensus. So again, Umtiti still owed a lot of money in his contract, and whether we sell him or not, there has to be an agreement on how he will be paid for those years on his contract. So again, he spread out his contract on 2022 to 2023. He had, of course, 1.5 years left on his deal. He's going to earn a set amount of money. Let's say he's going to earn $10. He's now spread that out to 2026, where he's going to be earning, $2 here, $2 there, $2 there, $2 over here to help Barcelona comply with FFP. That way, his salary per year would be reduced essentially. But and he's also from that $10, he reduced 10% of that. So let's just say 9.5, right? So Umtiti is still going to be owed that set money that he's already earned legally by contract. And if we do end up selling him, they will have to come to an agreement on what he will do. Umtiti could give it up like a lot of players do in the past. Busquets giving it up, Jordi Alba, whatever the case may be. But with the abuse he's been getting, I don't expect that. And to be honest, I don't blame him either. So Umtiti's sale, not as easy as you expect, because mainly not only selling him to a club, finding a club who's interested, but finding an agreement for his salary that's supposed to be deferred and how much he'll get paid from that. It will also be a big obstacle as well. But there is one loan player's exit that has been somewhat materializing, and that is the exit of Nico Gonzalez on another loan. Now, Gerard Ramirez came out saying that Nico Gonzalez could be the first exit from Barcelona. His loan move to Real Betis is progressing, and today has been an important day. But for Nico Gonzalez to go to Real Betis, first William Carvalho will have to leave the club. Now, I believe Carvalho has been rumored to be joining Saudi Arabia, as everyone else has been. I think he is also linked with Barcelona for a little bit as well when we were in desperate times for pivots about a week ago. But looks like Nico will be going out on loan again. I think Gabriel Sanz came out saying that the loan move isn't as advanced as Romero is saying, but there is talks. But I think another loan move is, the right move for Nico. He's a very, very prospering player. He's not a pivot according to Xavi and his coaching staff, and also in the interior positions were very well covered. Again, Pedri, Gavi, Frenkie de Jong, Ilkay Gundogan. Even with injuries, it'll be very difficult for Nico to get into the squad. So I think a loan move for him is good, and also you get to secure a player for the future as well. So wait and see how things develop with the loan player situations. But over the next 24, 30 hours, I expect, and I think I would probably bet on at least one of these players leaving the club via either sale, letter of freedom, maybe even a contract termination. Now, in order for Barcelona to make more signings this summer, they will need somewhat of big sales this summer, and that will come from some of the squad / starting players in Ferran, Torres, Ansu Fati, maybe Franck Kessie, maybe chuck in Eric Garcia as well. The Jaime Miguel from AS came out saying that Barcelona are not happy with certain players being reluctant to leave the club. Only Franck Kessie has been understanding the club's needs and has not put any implement in his exit. Ferran, Torres, and Ansu Fati are not showing any willingness to leave the club and are determined to continue, although they know they won't be getting regular minutes, but the club is very disappointed by their attitude. Due to this, Barcelona now considering giving the letter of freedom to Samuel Umtiti and Clement Lenglet to lighten the wage bill. Eric Garcia's case is also open. The coach is out counting him, and even more so with the arrival of Nico Martinez. But again, Eric Garcia's future depends on him. If he wants to leave, he'll leave. If he wants to stay, the club is happy to keep him. Pablo Torres could be loaned out, but it will be hardly help with FFP as his salary is very low. So again, the club, I think, we came into this transfer window wanting to sell at least one of Ansu or Ferran Torres for at least 30-40 million. That was the plan, but both players were reluctant to leave. Again, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed this, saying that both Ansu Fati and Ferran Torres want and hope to stay at Barcelona this summer. On Ansu Fati, Alfredo Martinez has come out saying that Ansu Fati is very determined to stay at Barcelona. He was even close to parting ways with his agent Jorge Mendes because he kept on insisting that he should leave. So Ansu Fati wasn't happy with what Jorge Mendes has done. Of course, same with his father as well, going on national radio, talking bad about the club and following Bayern Munich on Instagram and following Barcelona. Ansu Fati was very, very unhappy with that, and he almost even fired Jorge Mendes in his agent. Of course, Jorge Mendes came out a week ago saying that Ansu Fati will win the Ballon d'Or one day. He's a top talent, and I think the beef is squashed in that sense. But for me, I would love Ansu Fati to stay one more season. I would love to give out a remontada. Also, I don't want to see anyone else with the number 10 really, because I think that's quite a heavy number to lift. I think he had that season right now, adapting, not to number 10, but just in general with his injury and all this sort of stuff. So I would love to see Ansu Fati get one more remontada season. But I do hope that Ferran Torres leaves, because I think he's a player who is talented, but I think it's very clear that it will not work out at Barcelona. Now, Jerome Ramirez come out saying that Ferran Torres has received offers from the Premier League, but as of now, he doesn't want to leave. So at least there's offers for these players. It's not like no one wants them. So with Ferran Torres, I highly suspect Aston Villa being one of the clubs. Maybe it could be another mid-table club like, I don't know, Brighton, Brentford, Newcastle maybe. But there are offers there for these players. They're just reluctant in leaving, and they don't want to leave, which that's completely understandable. They all have valid contracts. They all want to give themselves a remontada. The issue is that I think that both Ferran Torres and Ansu, if they end up staying and they have another crap season, they'll be very open to leaving. The issue is at that point, they'll have no value whatsoever. That's why the club wants them to leave now, to cash in on their somewhat decent value at the moment. Because Ferran Torres, he's right now valued at 30 million. If he has another crap season, you're going down in 2015. With Ansu, he's valued at maybe 70, 60. He has another crap season, you're down at 30, 40. So that's the issue for Barcelona. Now, on these players leaving, Jordi Mira has also come out saying that Barcelona's sporting staff have already spoken to the players that have to leave, but they want Xavi to also speak with them. So, Oscar Hernandez, Sergi Allegri, his assistants, haven't communicated to those players, like, hey, you're not part of the plans, whatever the case may be. But those players want to hear and see it from Xavi himself. Very, very odd that Xavi hasn't spoken to them yet. Of course, at this point last summer, Xavi's already in his office calling, everyone, Neto and Mengueza, Ricky Puig, and tell them all to leave. They all end up leaving because the manager doesn't trust them. It's very, very strange that Xavi has not done it yet. But to be honest, again, the window hasn't really officially opened yet. So we'll wait and see on these long-term exits. Again, the club expect to get at least 1 or 2 of these done and kind of needed to make more acquisitions this summer. But all players are very, very reluctant in leaving the club. Now, the only player in the first team who's actually open to an exit is Franck Kessie, and over the past 24 hours, he has received a big offer from Saudi Arabia. Roger and Fernando Martinez from Deportivo came out saying that a team from Saudi Arabia is willing to make an irrefutable offer to Franck Kessie and will try to convince him. Till now, Kessie has prioritized staying at Barcelona, but be open to leaving if the club tells him to leave. And if he can't stay at Barcelona, Kessie is attracted to the idea of playing in the Premier League or Germany, despite the fact that initially he does not see himself playing in Saudi Arabia. If he ends up receiving that offer, he will evaluate it. Gazeta dello Sport came out saying that Ahli is the Saudi Arabia club that is interested in signing Franck Kessie. For now, Kessie prefers to stay at Barcelona or move to other destinations, but the offer would be very high. But Corazon Sport came out confirming this, saying that Ahli has contacted Kessie's environment to tempt him with a $1 million offer and a contract until 2026. The player wants to stay, but things could change if Xavi tells him that he doesn't count on him. But Barcelona want around 30 million euros to sell Kessie this summer. The Athletic have also confirmed this, saying that Ahli have been in talks with the environment of Franck Kessie. Kessie and his environment have made it known that they would be required a better offer to leave Barcelona. Ahli are open to improving the terms of the deal, and if the terms are indeed improved, Kessie would be open to leaving. Barcelona again are looking for a fee in the region of 30 million euros. The current offer from Ahli to Kessie is that his salary would be double of what he's earning at Barcelona. This was all confirmed by Gerard Romero. He came out saying that Barcelona have officially received a proposal from Ahli for Franck Kessie. The first offer is 20 million euros for the player, and Franck Kessie will be earning a salary of 10 million euros. They are studying and evaluating the offer, of course, Barcelona. So 20 million for Franck, I would poke in the bear here a bit. Although, of course, Saudi Arabia had the money. We have our evaluation of Franck Kessie is clear. 20 million, that brings you in a right back at least, with pivot already being covered with the money that we have from the transfer budget. We had 60 million to spend on Zumendi, then there's definitely 20 million to spend on Brozovic. I would poke in the bear a bit here. Maybe I get some variables in there. And again, I think Franck Kessie's contract right now with Barcelona is until 2026. So the valuation of the deal is still very well on track of what Barcelona want. Now, Gazeta dello Sport told BarcaBuzz on Twitter that the news of Ahli making an offer to Kessie and Barcelona is true, but they are expected to increase their offer to the player at least, as he is not convinced by the current offer. So he's currently offered 10 million net salary. They could even bring that up to 15 or 20, which is ridiculous. Mateo Marito from Renewal came out confirming this idea, saying that Kessie likes the idea of playing in the Premier League and is on Chelsea's list, and Pochettino does like the player a lot, so we could see maybe a bid from Chelsea as well. And finally, Miguel came out saying that right now Kessie is in fact tempted by the Saudi Arabia offer. If the operation comes to fruition, the Brozovic option would be immediately activated. This is very, very interesting. Now, I believe Kessie is a Muslim, and for Muslims, Saudi Arabia is a very holy and spiritual place. So being able to play top level football, earn a great living, and being in a very holy country is a very, very tempting offer. And when you're earning that kind of money at a team which is, competing in a league that has stars coming in, and you're earning a buckload of money, you'll only stay there until 2026. So if the move doesn't work out, you can still leave. You'll be in your prime. I think Kessie right now is 26 years old, 25 years old, so he'll be leaving, 29, 30, if he even fulfills that contract. So he still has a lot of future ahead of him. We'll have to wait and see. Again, Kessie owes nothing to Barcelona. He came for free. He's come in. He's done an alright job. But the club have evaluations on their player, which again is fair enough. If they want 30 million, I hope we can get it. And I think this would be a huge, huge sale for Barcelona. Again, his salary isn't that big currently at Barcelona. I think he's only earning around 100,000 euros per week. And that's only because he came as a free agent. So we'll wait to see on Kessie's exit. It is right now the only offer that we do have for a first team player where the player is actually interested in leaving. So we'll have to wait and see how things develop over the next few days. But Franck Kessie could be on the move to Saudi Arabia. Let's now discuss some contract renewal updates around the first team at Barcelona. Just one update today, and it is on the contract of Ousmane Dembele. As we all know, July the 1st, Dembele will have a release clause of around 50 million euros that will be active for the next month, and the club are trying to do their best to renew his contract as soon as possible. Toto Costa came out saying that Dembele and Deco are set to meet shortly to discuss the wingers' renewal. Esport 3 came out confirming this as well, saying that Barcelona and Dembele's agents are looking for a date to meet and no later than next week to seal the Frenchman's renewal. And then Fernando from Deportivo came out saying that Ousmane Dembele's agent Moussa Sissoko and Deco are scheduled to meet this week or next week. It is not known yet whether Aleman will be present during this meeting. Dembele wants to stay at Barcelona at all costs. Barcelona want to renew his contract until 2027 and sees it as favorable. He's very happy at Barcelona, especially under Xavi. There's also good harmony between Barcelona and Sissoko, and the idea is that they continue taking it based on the first offer that Barcelona sent. Barcelona want to close the renewal quickly and not stretch it out like they did last time. They also want to increase the release clause as well. So again, it's good to see that Sissoko and Barcelona are getting along, and it's also good to see that Barcelona's first contract offer is the one that's going to be accepted. Again, maybe a few tweaks here and there, but that premise of the initial contract, the club, made it to them, and the club and the player is very happy with it. Same with his agent as well, which I'm kind of shocked about. No Ballon d'Or salary, which is crazy. So it's very, very satisfying to see that Barcelona offer, first renewal, and it's accepted. The player is happy with it. Terms and conditions, maybe some things have to be tweaked here and there, but nonetheless, the general consensus and premise of an agreement is there. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, looks like we will not renew him by July the 1st. This release clause could kick in, but it's quite clear that Dembele sees his future at Barcelona. He's been touching Champions League trophies left, right, and center, dreaming of winning it with the Blaugrana. Now, a player who will not be leaving Barcelona will be the captain of the first team in Sergi Roberto. Alex Colldo from Sport has come out saying that Sergi Roberto will not leave Barcelona this summer. He wants to enjoy the captaincy to the absolute fullest, and by enjoying it, he means sitting on the bench the entire season and lifting all the trophies that we end up winning. It is what it is. Again, Saudi Arabia were sniffing around Roberto through intermediates. They didn't really get his attention, so that move isn't materializing whatsoever. And again, I doubt Roberto's going to leave for Barcelona. At this point. He only has 1 year left of his contract. He's renewing year by year. He's reached that point where his renewal will come every single year. I highly doubt he will stay after the season. I doubt the club will renew him once the season concludes. I think this will be his only season as a Barcelona captain, as his contract probably won't be renewed. I doubt the club will offer unless Xavi is absolutely still all over him, so we'll wait and see on that. But Sergio Roberto will continue the season, and he also will be the first team captain. Let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past 48 hours. Firstly, a very interesting report coming in from Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo that has now been confirmed by multiple journalists. He's come out saying that Barcelona are indeed planning on buying back Mika Marmol from Andorra for 1 million euros to then sell him to Las Palmas, who want him. His sale can settle or help settle what Barcelona still need to pay for the signing of Pedri. I do believe the club owe Las Palmas around 5 million euros for Pedri, with variables being achieved. He played a lot of minutes in that first and second season, all this stuff, and I think trophies won as well. So we do still owe Las Palmas some money. Again, we paid the initial fee. The variables is where the issue comes in, and the club could use Mika Marmol as collateral, I guess, maybe give him for free to pay off that debt. I'm not too sure how that works in the financial transfer status. Will we give him up for free? Will we sell him for 5 million and just give them back that 5 million, or whatever the case may be? But the club are trying to, pay off some debt by using players they currently have. To be honest, it is what it is. If we only have to pay 1 million to bring Mika Marmol back to, pay off 5 million in debt to Pedri, just give the play for free, I understand that. But keep your eyes on Mika Marmol next season in the La Liga. He had a great season in the second division with Andorra, and a lot of teams wanted him in the first division, the lower teams like, your Granada, Almeria. But looks like he will be set to join Las Palmas and join again with Gracia Pimienta. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is Barcelona's multi-million-dollar offer from Qatar. As we all know, Laporte has been in Qatar over recent weeks, and that's because Qatar are offering Barcelona a monumental deal. Cat Radio are reporting that Barcelona have received an offer worth more than 100 million euros for the Barca franchise and the name to be used by a Qatari club. It must be studied legally and also regarding the status. So, a Qatari club is offering Barcelona around or more than 100 million euros to use the name Barcelona to help build their club and build their stature and all that stuff. So, I don't know the exact details, but for me, my assumption is that the Qatari club will say, oh, we have a Barcelona academy, come join it, when the academy has absolutely nothing to do with Barcelona. Oh, come to the store where it's all made from Barcelona material, where it's not. Or, oh, are they going to call their club Barcelona Qatar FC when it has nothing to do with Barcelona? I have no idea. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talk about this, how, ethically it's not good for Barcelona, Mexican club more than a club. It just doesn't fit with the philosophy and model that was been built by the club from, the days of Joao Cancelo to Luis Suarez to the war to all this and stuff. We're in a world now where money is just too important. Again, we're not selling our souls here. We're not gonna sell our name to put this 100 million euros in straight transfer. It's going to help the club come out of debt. It's going to help pay for Espai Barca. Personally speaking, I think we're at a point where any big money like this, we should be accepting the operational unless it puts us in a financial debt or makes us look bad. Again, the legal team will study it. We'll see the stature, see the rules, see if this is allowed. If it is allowed, I can definitely see the club going for it. Because, any chance the club can get money since Laporte has arrived, they've done it, from NFTs to all these different avenues they've done, giving the Spotify name to Spotify Camp Nou, all this stuff. So I do hope this actually happens because I just want the money, really. I don't know how long if this is for eternity, maybe this is where you reject it, but if this is like for 5 years, 10-year deal or whatever the case may be, I think you accept it every single day of the week. So we'll wait and see. Again, this could be a huge cash injection for Barcelona. This will not be used directly for transfers. It'll probably be used to lighten the wage bill, maybe put into Espai Barca and other things around the club. But again, Laporte doesn't make a move, and Qatar have come calling with a huge multi-million-dollar offer to Barcelona. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course, leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. The main thing I want to first, of course, is your thoughts on the Marcelo Brozovic transfer. You think it'll end up happening or not? Second, your thoughts on Barcelona's pursuit in the right position, whether it's Fresneda, Joao Cancelo. You think that will materialize, hopefully, in the transfer market or not? Finally, your thoughts on all the sales, whether it's the loan players, the current team players. You think the club will get these exits done in the next 24 to 30 hours? You think Barcelona will sell some first team players this summer besides from Franck Kessie? Maybe Ferran Torres or Ansu Fati will end up leaving? And of course, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.
Yeah.